The Federal and Pedesta Hospital jointly present the Kanyakumari Marathon 2025. This event is co-presented by Rojavanam International School and Kingmakers IAS Academy. Run for Health on Sunday, May 4, 2025. Entry is free and all are welcome.
Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. Modi government announced the caste census to be conducted along with the population census on Wednesday and took everyone by surprise. Now, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav held a cabinet briefing to announce his decision, and coming as it does months before the Bihar elections. Now, though the government has not spelled out the timeline when it will do it, but the big question is what forced Modi government to announce this decision? Was it a headline management? Has this move stolen the thunder out of the opposition's fight for social justice? We'll try and discuss all this. Joining me now is Priyadarshi Telang, who's the Dalit rights activist. Thank you so much, Priyadarshi, for joining. We have Puneet Nicholas Yadav, political editor of The Federal. Thank you so much, Puneet, for joining. And we have Ashok Mishra, senior journalist and political commentator, who joins us from Bihar. And I'll begin with Priyadarshi. Priyadarshi, how do you see this announcement made by the union government, where they are saying that the caste census should be conducted along with the population census, but there is no timeline? We do not know when it's going to be conducted. The last announcement, which was made for the caste census in 2019 in a cabinet briefing, was on 24th December 2019, when it was also said that how much money will be allocated to the census, and that was to the tune of 8,254 crores. And this year, all of a sudden, there is a mention of the caste as well. That time, there were only 2-3 things were announced in the cabinet meeting. That was house listing, housing census, and population enumeration. So now, all of a sudden, what has forced the Modi government to announce the caste census also?
Niluji, we need to understand the timing of this announcement. When the entire nation is looking forward towards Modi government, that Modi government will come in action mode for the Pahalgam attack, but that has not happened. It's more than a week past, though the photographs and sketches of the perpetrators were released, accused were released, but nothing on that front took place. I mean, if you see the place of attack and the boundary, it's a huge distance, more than 400 kilometers. However, nothing has taken place on that ground. On the other hand, never before all the Kashmiris are protesting it. And those who are protesting also for this attack, their houses are being bulldozed. This bulldozed culture which has evolved in UP, now part of other states, MP, Maharashtra and Kashmir as well. There are a lot of setback on this move, on the attack as well as the...
You are saying this is nothing but a diversion from the Pahalgam terror attack? And
that's one thing.
Has been made.
That's one thing. And secondly, the announcement come on before the election of Bihar Assembly. You might also note that during the budget session, the entire budget was dominated by allocation towards Bihar. And now, as the elections are coming near, Prime Minister, who was supposed to attend all party meeting, he is absent in that meeting. On the contrary, he is attending political rally in Bihar, making announcement. And when you see that he is appealing on Pahalgam attack side, there is no response from the people. There is no response in social media. There is no response from the youngster where he is appealing that their first vote should go to Pahalgam attack. So on failure of that, Prime Minister Modi convened a cabinet meeting. He was supposed to convey a cabinet meeting on the Pahalgam, but he didn't do that. However, the cabinet meeting was called on for caste census, and it was deliberated that there should be a caste census. In the deliberation, there is no clear-cut formulation.
No, but Priyadarshi, in fact, I'll ask Puneet also. I'm sure this announcement has just not been made in a jiffy. They must have planned, they must have deliberated upon the issue for a number of days or maybe weeks also. And then this announcement has
No,
come?
I will come to that. I will come to that. As you know, census is a huge exercise. It takes years together to compile those data, to collect those data, collect it, compile it, and analyze it. Right? Now, what happened then that this was not envisaged in the budgetary budget session? Why there was no allocation? When the census was to be conducted in 2021, the allocation were more than 3,500 crore. Now the allocation has reduced down only to 547 or 70 crore. So how is it possible that when you are envisaging such a huge exercise, there is no budgetary allocation? And even if cabinet meeting is, if even if allocation is not done in budget session, who has stopped them to make that announcement in the cabinet? That was also not done. There is a huge process. Entire this enumeration is conducted by teachers, right? On the top of that, all the teachers are busy with the implementation of new education policy across the state. They have not formulated how it's going to be implemented. Now in this new education policy, the basic they have taken together is from year 3, 4 and 5, right? Now implementation is only on from first standard. So huge states, all the states are under the huge pressure. All the teachers are under huge pressure. How this NEP is going to get implemented? And on that line, if you consider, there is a huge pressure of enumeration as well. So taking all this together, they are not going to conduct a census. Leave aside caste enumeration. I am doubtful whether BJP government will conduct census itself.
Okay.
Looking at the allocation, because it will make their tall claim fall apart. Modi ji is making a claim that 80 crore people are being given a free ration. If this caste enumeration and census is being conducted, all their claims will fall apart. May it be in housing, may it be in livelihood, Ayushman Bharat, and so on and so forth. So they are not going to give those data to the public. They have already created a statistical fog. Whatever which is available in the public domain, they are hiding it.
So,
So,
okay. So you were saying that there will be no consensus, there will be no census, and this is just a hollow talk. I'll come back to you, Priyadarshi. Let me go to Puneet now. Puneet, what do you think is the reason why Modi or the Modi government has immediately jumped onto this caste census announcement? Uh, does it look like a mystery, or it's a well thought out strategy to divert attention, as everybody is discussing that one needed an attention diversion from Pahalgam, and media is successfully doing it from since morning. All the media channels are discussing caste census.
It is difficult to speculate what triggered the government. Whether it has taken everybody by surprise, of course, is a no-brainer. I mean, it has surprised everyone, including people within the BJP. The CCP's decision of yesterday. But what triggered it is something that's still unclear. And one can only, get into all kinds of speculation, whether it's a distraction from Pahalgam, whether it has to do with the Bihar elections, or it's simply to blunt the opposition's campaign on caste census. N number of reasons can be, or triggers can be attributed to this. So, but to assume that this would not have been, this would have, a decision like this would have been made without any thought going into it, is a bit of a stretch. And, this is not a government that will take a political, yes, policy decisions, certainly, but you can't remove politics from caste census. And when it comes to politics, this is not a government that acts merely on whim. Whatever they've done, they would have thought various aspects of this. It may to us look like this is, the government making a parody of the BJP, considering the BJP's stand on the caste census, the Prime Minister's own stand on the caste census over the last several years, including the Lok Sabha campaign. And in fact, if you recall, in I think just a day after Pahalgam happened, the BJP's Chhattisgarh unit handle had put out a very, very, sort of distasteful meme, or I don't know what is that AI cartoon that's been doing the round these days. One of those saying, Dharam pucha jati nahi, and that was, of course, uh, a kind of a swipe at the opposition's issue of the caste census. So within a week of that, you have the government saying that they're going to have a caste census. Now, so I wouldn't want to speculate the reasons. Yes, it is a mystery why they've done it. But to say that it's been done without any thought being given to it, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. The other issue also is that I know for a fact, and part of it is also in the public domain, that since the Lok Sabha elections, the RSS had been telling the government to go in for a caste census. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, and my memory serves, uh, I think September or October last year, around, in the run up to the Maharashtra elections or thereabouts, the RSS had made a very public thing of supporting the caste census and saying that this is a prerequisite for better targeted welfare schemes. So there has obviously been discussion in the party, in the government,
I
between the
mean,
party and the RSS.
that's an important piece of information you're highlighting, that if it has been happening before the Maharashtra elections, and RSS has been very vocal about its support for caste census, then can we really accuse the government of deciding on this issue in a jiffy, which means that there has been deliberation over this issue for quite some time. It is just that they picked on yesterday to make the announcement.
Yeah, so I think the biggest surprise here, of course, is the timing of the announcement.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, that to suggest that the government has, just called a CCPA and made an announcement without having given it any thought is not accurate. They would have discussed it. And of course, the Prime Minister is known for throwing surprises. The bigger challenge, I think, what is more important for us to discuss is how is it that the government is going to sell this idea to the people now? Because the attempt
Right.
now, of course, is to appropriate an idea which came from the opposition and for a long time was dismissed as being a very divisive idea, as being against, the unity of India, or rather the unity of Hindus of India,
Right.
by people from the BJP.
Uh,
You remember
yeah.
all those horrible slogans from the Lok Sabha and the Maharashtra election campaign of
Yeah.
"Batenge to Katenge" and all of that. So how does the BJP now sell this as its own idea? Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav yesterday said that when the opposition talks about caste census, they only do it as a political tool. But when we do it, it demonstrates the Prime Minister's vision for unity and for a more egalitarian society, so to speak. So I mean, is that alone going to cut it? I don't think so. I
In fact,
also
Meet,
would be
I was
very
coming to that
interested.
question. No, I was, in fact, I was coming to that question that uh, it's going to be a challenge for BJP to sell this idea, because people will recall all those statements coming from Prime Minister कि ऐसी विचारधारा के लोग तो अब नक्सल्स हैं. And today, when Jairam Ramesh held the press conference in the afternoon, he mentioned about all those things which were said in the past, whoever spoke about
Yeah,
from the oppositions and whoever spoke about the caste census. But do you think that it can be labeled as a master stroke? Because that's the
certainly
immediate.
not.
It's not a master stroke for BJP at
Certainly
all.
not. Certainly not. And I would also point out, a lot of us have been spending I think, over time on discussing how this has, taken the wind out of the sails of the opposition's campaign for caste census. None of us seem to be actually looking at the other side of the story on how this is likely to play out with the BJP's Brahmin Banya vote bank.
Yeah.
You
True.
know,
Very
uh,
good.
it is all right for the BJP to try and spin this as a welfare measure for society and all of that. It's perhaps even okay for the BJP's ideologues in the media to be saying, oh, this is not going to have any impact in the upper castes because the upper caste knows that they're only responding to a political challenge from the opposition. All of that is fine. But please bear in mind that castes, caste conflicts, caste fault lines are a reality of the Indian political landscape. And I'll just trace you back to the UP elections. For all the BJP's, Ram Mandir and Hindutva and all of that outreach, what happened in Western UP? You had immense unrest among the Jats, and you had immense unrest, particularly amongst the Thakurs, the Rajputs. Both Hindu communities, and when the Rajputs, the Thakurs in Western UP decided, and also, I mean, not just Western UP, but largely in that belt, that they are not going to vote for the BJP purely on their push for Hindutva. Look at the results that came from Western UP. Look at the result from a constituency like Saharanpur, where Imran Masood managed to win by sweeping localities that are dominated by Rajput voters. Even in Kairana, where I think Ikra won the seat, uh, large number of Rajput as well as Jat voters voted for her. So it's not as if it's only an attack on the that it's only the opposition that will need to kind of find a way out and build a counter narrative. The BJP will also need to find ways of selling this to its own core vote bank. It's not going to be a very easy sell.
Absolutely. And very important points you've mentioned. And I'm coming to you, Ashok, now that in Bihar, after the announcement, what has been the general reaction with the regional parties over there? Do they feel, I mean, the parties within the NDA, do they feel that this is some kind of a new awakening which BJP, at the behest of BJP, which has been done and it can really sell well, though it's quite difficult, as what Puneet pointed out?
Nilu, first of all, this caste census, it originated basically from Bihar. Uh, Tejasvi
Yes.
Yadav had demanded it when Tejasvi was in government along with Nitish Kumar as chief minister. This 65% they have conducted the caste census, and they have gone for 65% reservation and implemented it along with 10% for the EWS. It was later challenged in court, and eventually the Supreme Court had, stayed the Patna High Court order saying that it should not be implemented. So it has been stopped now, and the old 50% reservation formula is now executed in Bihar. So the origin of this caste census is Bihar. So Bihar has the regional parties they have an edge over caste census. If you talk about caste census, it's Bihar regional parties like Rashtriya Janata Dal U. Nitish Kumar is considered to be the staunch votary of Mandal politics, and he has implemented this caste engineering, which the word engineering has invented from his permutation and combination of caste. So in Bihar, BJP has not been the votary of a caste census or caste reservation any. So now there are
No, but then you are saying that BJP has not been seen as a votary of the caste census in Bihar. So how is BJP now or NDA going to sell the idea? Will they bank on Nitish Kumar to sell this idea, or will it? How
I'm
difficult
saying
or
that
easy the majority
initially
is? What is it going to be?
it's considered to be a Brahman, Bhumihar, upper castes are the core vote bank. Upper caste and Vaishyas, Vanyas are the core vote banks of BJP in Bihar, and they are vocal. They are vocal votes. Apart from they have they have divided the society, the scheduled caste community, the extremely backward caste community, and the backward caste community. But their formula is to go for different castes which are against Yadav, which are against Muslim. So both the Mandal formula and Kamandal formula apply. The BJP applies both the Mandal and Kamandal formula in Bihar. But
So
the
if that is the
final
no,
event,
but if that, if what I'm just speaking from what you are saying, so which means that if BJP is trying to co-opt Mandal and Kamandal both, so which means it's going to work well electorally for BJP then in Bihar.
but no, this will not work because for social justice, even today, Lalu Yadav and Nitish Kumar are the two major icons of social justice in Bihar. Those who are those who vote for in the name of social justice, they find their leaders as it's either Lalu or Nitish, not the BJP. It's either Lalu or Nitish. The BJP gets the votes of the backward caste or the extremely backward caste or the Dalits by dividing the social justice bloc. They try to divide by giving the number of they will increase the number of seats of a particular caste if they want. Like they have roped in Ramvilas Paswan's son, Chirag Paswan, Lok Janshakti Party, to divide the scheduled caste block of 20%. So the major vote bank of Paswan, Dusads, they vote for BJP, and the remaining part, Chamars, which is the chunk of votes in Bihar, they vote for the RJD. So they have decided, they have worked out a formula in which they divide the castes of different blocks, and that is how they get the votes. In fact, Nitish Kumar is known for saying to the BJP that BJP should work on the upper caste and Vaishya votes, and the EBC and backward votes I will manage. And he has been doing it all along. So, in my opinion, this BJP has done it too. Obviously, as other my fellow colleagues were saying, that BJP has done it desperately. It's a desperate act to divert the attention from Pahalgam attack, that they are unable to do anything. In fact, the people and the supporters of BJP are waiting that there should be a strike in Pakistan somewhere, but they are unable to do that. I don't know the reasons why. There might be several other reasons and the justifiable reasons I know, but the BJP supporters, they were the warmongering, as you said, that the TV channel war room, they have already opened the war room. The war has not happened. So this is an attempt to divert the attention of the and it has two pronged formula. It has two pronged strategy. The first strategy is to divert the attention, and second strategy to reap benefits from Bihar for caste census, which has originated basically from Bihar. They think it will have an impact in Bihar elections after 3, 4, 5 months. This is the
Right.
strategy of the BJP. I don't think BJP is going to get much out of it because Bihar is already divided on castes, and different castes have postured themselves that with whom they will vote for.
Right. All right. So Priyadarshi, if
Hello.
BJP is not, yes. So I'll come to Priyadarshi now. That if BJP isn't looking like it's going to gain much electorally in Bihar, so who stands to gain from this announcement? Is it the opposition, if it can appropriate? Now tomorrow there is a CWC meeting. I'll talk in detail to Puneet also about that. That can Congress really appropriate? Can they own this narrative of social justice, of this caste census? Or how will BJP, how does it benefit BJP then?
No, in Bihar election, Bihar people have already voted on the caste census and surveys. They have already got the data of their own state with them. It is now public. So, how far this declaration will influence the voter of Bihar is already clear. People are not going to vote on the issue of caste census certainly in Bihar. There are other issues which related to Bihar. Migration is one major issue, right? Which none of the government is able to address so far. Right? I mean, one of the reports says that more than 30% of the children have not seen their parents regularly, right? So their father are away for the entire period, and they are growing in adolescent in absence of their parents. So there are major issues with respect to Bihar state, and this is like, as I said earlier, this is like diverting from the Pahalgam attack, because Modi government has failed not only nationally but internationally as well. They are not in a position to even the neighboring countries to in support of our own country. The way earlier government used to do at the international policy level or international advocacy level, that is not happening at all. So if you see the statement of from President Trump, he is supporting both Pakistan and India. So the way other countries should have supported India, that has not happened. So nationally, Modi government has failed in order to uh, wipe out the terrorism as they declared while abrogation of Article 370. They declared that Notabandi will stop all this nonsense. It has not happened. So though Prime Minister is in the habit of giving surprises at 8 p.m., so far nothing has clicked on the policy matter, nothing has clicked on security side, nothing has clicked on the economic front. So their major is major portfolio which BJP is trying to do is to divert the attention. Another thing, Nilu, you need to understand that as one of the colleagues says, the caste census has emerged from the Bihar itself. Karpuri Thakurji, Ram Manohar Lohia ji, they have given the slogan that so pichda paave 100 mein 60. So people are knowing about those. Figure has come right now, but how long this figure will be used for policies and welfare politics, that's a different story. Because if you see, BJP is hiding the data which is available in the public. They are not making those data available. So for that they have amended the RTI Act. For that they have been brought up the DPDP Act. So it's they have already created a statistical fog. You can see our statistics department were very famous at a national international level. Those people who were there, they have already been transferred, right? And whatever exercise we need to do for the census, right from notification to the training, that is not there. It's a mere declaration in a cabinet without any preparation. The preparation might be at a BJP level, but at administrative level, at a registrar general level, we don't see any sort of thing. There is no notification by the Registrar General of India, right? So BJP is not in a mood to give those data.
Right.
What they are doing is to
Okay.
hide it, and they have used the socio-economic caste survey which were conducted long back for their electoral gains.
Right.
They know which caste lies where, which castes are positioned at in a hierarchy, right? So they are making use of those caste hierarchy and graded inequality, as Dr. Ambedkar used that term, by giving. And another thing, even though Nitish Kumar was advocate for this, Nitish Kumar has phrased unconstitutional term like Mahadalit, Ati Pichada, which is not constitutionally valid. And same is been done by Rahul Gandhi now when he is talking about Telangana census.
Right. So what I'm understanding is that it's going to be challenging both for the opposition and for the BJP to go to the people with this idea. But I'll come to Puneet now that since the Congress Working Committee meeting, which is scheduled for tomorrow, 4 p.m. But what next for Congress? Can Congress and can especially Rahul Gandhi, can he own the narrative? Yesterday's press conference, which he held, and a reporter even asked that is it because of your pressure? So at that time he didn't take the credit, but this morning I saw a tweet by him which clearly showed that they're trying to appropriate the narrative now. So the big question now is that can Congress really own the narrative of caste census?
No, there is no question of trying to appropriate. I don't think anybody today has any doubt on where the push for caste census came from. It came from the opposition. It came from the Congress party, from Rahul Gandhi, from Tejashwi Yadav, from Akhilesh Yadav, from MK Stalin, various members of the India bloc. So where is the question of appropriating? If there is an appropriation, the appropriation is coming from the BJP. Now, the Congress, of course, has its own checkered history when it comes to, caste census and OBC representation and all of that. But the advantage that the Congress has, to some extent perhaps, is that unfortunately, most voters today have no sense of history. And that is something that the BJP has been using to its advantage by peddling a fake narrative of history of what happened or what went down between, the 1940s, between independence and the 1980s or 1990s. So are people today going to remember what the Congress did with the Kaka Kalikar report or what the Congress did with the Mandal report? I don't think so. The competition really is on who is able to get his message across better, louder, clearer when it comes to what the CCPA has decided yesterday. Does the BJP have a very clear narrative on the caste census, which can erase a more relevant, a more recent, and more, in memory kind of a thing on stand on the caste census that they had taken? Because for voters today, the BJP's stand on caste census is well known. What the Congress's stand on caste census was back in the 1980s or the 1970s, today's voter may not know. But today's voter knows what the BJP's stand on the caste census has been especially over the last 11 years. So can the BJP turn that narrative around and then have a sales pitch to really sell this thing as its own idea? That is one part of the competition. The other is, what does the opposition do now? I think you got a glimpse of that in Rahul's press conference yesterday, where he pushed the gauntlet further by saying, okay, we welcome the government and we fully back the government on caste census. It is our idea, they are executing it, and it shows that we can pressurize the BJP into doing things. I think that was a very good formulation from him. But then he pushed the gauntlet further by saying, and very clearly laying out 4 points. Is that one, we need to know what the timeline is, and I think these are the issues that will be reiterated by the CWC tomorrow, which is why I'm laying emphasis on this. One, what is the timeline? As you know, the government hasn't given a timeline. It's pretty much similar to what the government did with the Women's Reservation Bill, which was passed by Parliament in September 23. You passed the Women's Reservation Bill, nobody seems to know when it's going to be implemented. So similarly, the CCPA may have given its nod to a caste census and said upcoming census, but the timeline remains indeterminate. You don't have a budgetary allocation, as you mentioned in your opening remarks, for the census exercise to begin immediately. In 2019, the cabinet note for conducting a census, not a caste census, but a census, was a little upwards of 8,000 crore. That was the allocation. Naturally, that allocation would, in a passage of 6 years, would have escalated. So what you need today is and particularly not because it's not just a caste census, but not just a regular census, but a caste census. You need perhaps an allocation of 10 to 11 or 12,000 crore, which is not made in this year's union budget. So you need to find that money, make that allocation first, and that has to go through Parliament. So when does that happen? Whether that happens within this financial year or it's carried forward to the next financial year, all of that is indeterminate. And then the census exercise itself takes about 10 to 11 months to complete. So some of the BJP leaders I spoke to conceded as much off the record that the earliest, even if everything goes all right and everything is done, the earliest that you can hope for the census figures to come out is perhaps somewhere in mid 2027, not even 2026. Now, so the Congress and Rahul Gandhi, and they've said timeline needs to be given. The second point that he's raised is that once you have the caste census done, you need to break that 50% ceiling on reservation. Okay, now some states, of course, have done it. Tamil Nadu did it successfully. It's also protected by under the constitution. Other states have tried. Some have had success. Some haven't had success. But he's asking for a national law, a constitutional change, because this cap is a Supreme Court mandated cap. It's not a cap given by the Constitution. It's a Supreme Court mandated cap outlined in the M.R. Balaji verdict and then reiterated in the Indira Sawhney verdict. So that cap has to go, is what the opposition, and not just the Congress, mind you. I've spoken to other opposition leaders, different parties. They've also said that this is again something that they're going to push for, that 50% ceiling has to go. The third point is, I think, an interesting twist from the Congress, where they've said Article 15(5) of the Constitution needs to be implemented in letter and spirit. Now, Article 15(5), you would know, was brought into the Constitution. It was not part of the original Constitution. It was brought into the Constitution by the 93rd Amendment. And the 93rd Amendment, if my memory serves right, to give reservations for socially backward communities in private educational institutions. So that's the other thing that Rahul and the Congress are going to push for. I believe other opposition parties, by and large, are on board with that demand. And also, the SC/ST sub-plan, which the Modi government has made a mess of over the last 11 years, to reinvent and reallocate SC/ST sub-plans. Who knows? I mean, they may even ask for an OBC sub-plan. So I think these 4 points are where the opposition's narrative and the Congress's narrative would now be anchored. Whether they're able to take this to the grassroots, because that is where the Congress and other opposition parties fail. Whether that narrative goes to the grassroots is where the opposition's challenge lies. They need to, I don't think they need to convince the people that this was their idea, but they need to convince the people that the BJP is basically pulling wool over their eyes with the announcement made yesterday. And, they need a timeline. They need other empowerment steps to flow from the exercise once it's concluded. So I think it's going to be a clash of those narratives, not of, looking back in the past on who did what on caste.
Right. All right. Okay, so I'll come for the concluding remarks to Ashok. So what would you really say? And in context with Bihar only, if you could conclude.
These caste census, as decided by the cabinet, union cabinet, will work in 3-4 states very, aggressively, like Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Bihar, Jharkhand, and some part, and Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. These are the states where the social justice plan and the social justice plan works. In South India, the problem is that people are already divided on caste lines, the Lingayat versus others. In Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, they have 80% reservation, nearly 80% reservation, since long back. So this caste census is going to make a dent. BJP is trying to make a dent into the backward and the extremely backward caste in Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, Pradesh, and parts of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. So their strategy now is to mandalize the BJP, and the attempt has already been made to mandalize the Sangh, RSS. If you see, there are some top leaders who belong to the backward caste, and this class is going on for the past 5 to 6 years. Mohan Bhagwat is being challenged by the people from the backward caste or other caste, not non-Brahmin caste. So this conflict within the BJP and within the Sangh, it is the outcome of that, and the reason we know, because even today they have not been able to decide who will be the president of BJP. We are hearing it for the past so many months that now the BJP president, Mr. Nadda, will be replaced by there are too many names doing the rounds in the political circus in Delhi and elsewhere, in Bihar also. So the basic idea behind this caste census is to divert the attention from the Pulwama aftermath of the Pulwama attack, and to make use of this opportunity, and by introducing this caste census plan, which, as Puneet says, that they have no budget, they have no plan, they have no timeline, as Congress is saying. So it's just an issue. They have floated the issue and they want to reap political benefit out of it. And I don't think Bihar they will succeed. Bihar is already divided on caste lines, and people are ready to vote for. They have decided which party and which candidate they will vote for, and how many candidates. If one caste decides in terms of, it's surprising how many caste candidates have been selected by a particular political party, whether it is BJP or the RJD or the JDU.
Right.
This is
Okay, so
the basic mentality.
No. I'm saying
Okay.
Bihar elections are still few months away, but what we do know is that they have made an announcement. There is no budget, there is no timeline. So there are all reasons why you would suspect whether at all, forget the caste census, whether at all the BJP government will actually conduct the population census also. So all eyes would be on how, as Puneet said, that it's difficult for BJP also to sell the idea. How will BJP now take this narrative to the people? How will opposition and cash upon it? Can they take it to the grassroots? All these are important questions. And of course, don't forget, there is a CWC tomorrow where they will discuss on ways and means how to appropriate this narrative around the caste census. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Puneet, Ashok, Priyadarshi. Thank you very much for joining.
The Federal and Bethesda Hospital jointly present the Kanyakumari Marathon 2025. This event is co-presented by Rojavanam International School and Kingmakers IAS Academy. Run for Health on Sunday, May 4, 2025. Entry is free and all are welcome.